Hello, my name's Imtaz. I'm a bespoke tailor and I'm talking about my greatest inspiration for real business and Orange.
Imtaz Khalid graduated with a distinction from the London College of Fashion in 1988 and started her first tailoring business at the age of 18 in her hometown of Bradford. She set up Bespoke Tailor in 1991. Now considered one of the leading lights in tailoring, she's best known for her handmade, sharply cut, sleek suits for both men and women. We asked Imtaz about her greatest inspiration.
Hi Imtaz, thanks for coming to speak to us today. Now you set up your first tailoring business when you were 18. What inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
Well, I started with a love of tailoring, so that came first, and then the entrepreneurial route followed because I sort of discovered that it was going to be very difficult for a woman as a tailor to develop. And so I sort of got set up the shop next to my father's shop and with my final collection, and I'd had great acclaim in college, and it'd been on TV and I'd had local paper press and everything, and news and stuff. And I just sort of waited for clients to come to me. So I was completely, not an entrepreneur, just sort of a designer waiting for clients to come. And then I realised I was going to have to sort of switch into entrepreneurial mode.
So without any business training as such, who did you turn to for advice along the way? Do you come from a family of entrepreneurs?
Well, my father sort of came over from Pakistan in the 50s, and he worked in textile mills, so it's sort of some kind of link with me in tailoring. And he sort of worked hard and then decided to set up his first business, and then he set up the second and sort of started buying houses and that type of thing. And so he was the real role model and inspiration and guidance, really. I mean, just by actually seeing him and seeing what he did, I sort of got the idea, oh yes, this is possible. And I think that's what most entrepreneurs do. They sort of get it from some kind of family input.
You're now based in Islington and you're actually the first female bespoke tailor. What kind of challenges have you come up against along the way?
Well, it's been quite challenging to do with perception a lot of the time because I'm the first woman tailor, and in the 18th century it used to be illegal to trade as a tailor, so that's not the case anymore, but it's still Savile Row has got a bit of a stranglehold, but it's just a location and not a qualification. And now they're recommending clients over to me. So it's a case of sort of perseverance with me and having a passion for what I do, and then people will just come and follow. So that's how I've done it.
Which other entrepreneurs have inspired you?
Well, I go to a lot of British Library events, and the most inspiring one that I went to was Anita Roderick. And before that, I would have said Richard Branson, but I've sort of met him in Downing Street, and although I sort of believe in the way he's done things, Anita Roderick just seemed really passionate about what she did, and she started very small, and she started on her own, and it was ethical, and she's quite an inspiring woman because she wants to help people and she wants to make sure the environment's protected. So she's been the most inspiring woman I've met, really.
I mean, like Anita, you started small and on your own. So where do you hope to be in sort of 5-10 years' time?
Well, I've been doing quite a lot for sort of government work and making the industry better for the future for young people, internship programs and that sort of thing. So I'm sort of tending to go that route, and also sort of visiting Canary Wharf and companies, banking companies, to sort of bring sewing into the forefront.
Do you think now's a good time for budding young entrepreneurs to set up their own business?
Yes, definitely, because I started in '91 and it was the start of a recession, and my work got sort of picked up by the stylist from the Sunday Times, Kim Andrioli, and she used it for the Face and for the Sunday Times and Vauxhall Corsair ad and lots of sort of really high profile work, and Michelle Pfeiffer wore one of the suits, and it was just a time where it was crying out for quality and something lasting, and in a recession that's what you want. You want quality, you want something lasting.
Do you think there are particular skills or characteristics that entrepreneurs need to have?
In terms of my own experience, I've just had to be, sort of persevering, be really good at what I do, and then just really believe in yourself. Because there's lots of people who are going to say, oh, I can do that better than you. But it's just, if you persevere with it, and if you put the hard work, it's inspiration and perspiration again, So, that's the most important thing, is just keep going and believing in yourself, and then, convincing other people. Because if you don't believe in it, then how's your customer going to believe in you?
Looking back over your years in business, if there was one thing you wished you could have done differently, what would that have been?
Well, I sort of moved locations quite a lot. So I moved from Battersea, I did a studio there, and then I had a studio in South Molton Street, and then Bond Street, and then East London, and now in Islington. And those sort of location issues were quite an interesting sort of test for me, because tailoring, because of the sort of Savile Row stranglehold, you sort of need to be somewhere that has that history, and the place I've got now has, it used to be owned by a tailor in the 50s, and their former cloth workers' houses, so it has that sort of mystique and quality behind it. So that's always been an issue, but I've always sort of thought, no, I'm going to break free of that, and I'm going to do my own thing, which is great. But sometimes being based in Hackney was a bit too real for some clients, I think.
So given the level of competition in the industry, how have you gone about marketing your brand and promoting it? Have you relied on word of mouth?
Yes, a lot of word of mouth, but also because of the uniqueness of what I do, I've tended to get a lot of sort of press coverage, and then the celebrity endorsement. I did the wedding dress for Sian Lloyd, which was on the cover of Hello magazine, and I've had quite a lot of sort of media coverage, a BBC Radio London as a listed Londoner, and Radio 4 and a Woman's Hour, and a profile on BBC News. So over the years, it's been sort of just building up the name, which has been sort of quite important. And then the word of mouth and keeping the clients, sort of from day one. So I've had some clients for over, during the length of the time of the business.
Well, Imtaz, best of luck with building the business, and thank you very much for speaking to us today.
Thank you.